Hi friends, it's Deanna Willison from Our Blooming Catholic Life, and yesterday we did a little book walk and I couldn't wait to dive into these books. So these two books I pretty much already covered and I am just waiting to share them with you. Okay, so the first book was the Gregorian Chant for ukulele. I'm not the world's best ukulele player or the world's best Gregorian chanter, but I was really interested in this for adding to my personal devotional practices, and it did not disappoint. It won't lie to you though, some of the pages were still perforated but stuck together at the bottom, so I did have to rip open some of the pages, but there's no description of this on Amazon, which is where I had found it, but I didn't tell you everything that was in it yesterday. It does have like Veni Creator Spiritus, Stabat Mater, you know, the things that you're going to be expecting, but Tantum Ergo is in here, and then like Ave Maria, Maristella, Regina Coeli, like wait, what's going on here? And then I realized that they also include different parts of the Mass. It has the Alleluia. In the Missa 8, it has the Kyrie, Gloria, Sanctus, Agnus Dei. Has the same for 11 and for 18, Credo 1 and 3. And then if you've been following me and doing the 33 Days to Morning Glory, and I'm getting ready to do the second book on opening ourselves to receiving the love of the Father, and you know I've been trying to learn the Our Father in Latin, the very last page, surprise, surprise, was the Pater Noster. And I am so excited about this. I really am. I'm so thankful. This is going to be great to help me learn it as the Latin as well as the music. And so I'm very excited. Although I got it thinking there might be some hymns in here I could use with evening or morning prayer. That was just a real treasure for me to find that. And if somebody's actually good at ukulele, they could play some of the parts of the Mass. And so that would be helpful to them. I wanted to read to you a little bit of note on here. It says the equipment for ukulele players includes the campanella style. I think that's how you say that, which is the best for Gregorian chant play. The style will help induce a large cathedral reverb. Therefore, left-hand fingering is written above the tablatures. Try to keep it and have strings drone. So it does have, I'll go back to the Pater Noster and show you. It has the regular music notes, right? And then it has it in ukulele, which is called tab notation. But besides having the tab notation above the estimated rhythm, remember it's Gregorian chant, so it's not really strict in rhythm. There's an extra set of notes up here. I'm guessing that's what he's talking about for that campanella style. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited to find out. And if you already know, you are going to fall in love with this book. Again, it's Gregorian Chant for ukulele. I got it for C tuning ukulele, which is important to know because I think he also has for two other variations. I think he has baritone and bass ukulele as well. So that would be very exciting for you. I can't say his name. My best guess would be Ondrej Sarek. There's a little picture of him. And so I thank him for this book. I'm excited. I've been, plucking away at the Pater Noster, and I can't say it's great, but I do know the tune in my head, so I know like the basics of it. And he did recommend finding a recording of these. He doesn't provide one, so if he is watching, I would love to have that available. You could maybe make it available as a YouTube video or as an MP3 download. I would totally be willing to buy it. So he said, get it, the audio of it so that you can play along with them and learn. So the second book I really delved into yesterday was this Franciscan Catechism. And I admit I was being a little silly when I got it. It says Progressives Fake News on the Saint from Assisi. And I thought it was going to be a kind of irreverent, funny joke at it because some of the things people do with St. Francis really are ridiculous. And so I just thought it was going to be a funny take, but it's not. It's very serious. It's very scholarly. It's very comprehensive. And whether or not you're going to agree with his arguments, he has footnotes. He has the original sources. Most of his sources are the early documents of St. Francis. So if you have that 3-volume set, you are going to be set to dive into this book because you can go back then and look up most of his references. So I was very grateful to him for providing all of those. Like I said yesterday, it is a question and answer format. But then every question, like, was St. Francis a do-gooder? There's multiple sub-questions. Like, what do you mean by saying he was not a do-gooder? What does this do-gooder distortion entail? What belies the reputation of St. Francis as a do-gooder? Today it is generally said that God neither reprimands nor punishments. How did St. Francis behave in this regard? Did St. Francis also put curses on people like an ancient prophet? Was St. Francis also this severe when dealing with his own? Did a saint like him not limit himself to extolling good without insisting on punishing evil? So it was very interesting, and I know one that's going to be wildly controversial. Was St. Francis a pacifist? In the current secular Franciscan rule, we do have a rule about being a pacifist, and so I found that to be very insightful, and it really let me know more about the times that he was living in. So whether or not you're agreeing with what St. Francis intended in his day and time or people's current interpretation of it, this book is going to challenge you. You may or may not agree with him. The author, and his name, I think, is Guido Vignelli. And let's see. I mean, it's pretty much that he lives in Rome, and he's the author of several books. I found this book to be challenging in a good way. As a lot of you know, I was supposed to have a secular Franciscan meeting to go over how I feel I'm progressing in my candidacy. And of course, that meeting got canceled. We meet at a friary that is currently used mainly as a day retreat house. And so it has people coming and going all the times. And our state just shut down any gathering of people over 250. And that's probably really going to affect the shrine. And I know our fraternity meeting was canceled, as well as my formation meeting was just canceled, even though there's only 3 people in my class. Oh well, so I'm really glad I'd gotten that big stack of Franciscan books to delve into this month, because I'm not having my regular meeting. So I am super grateful for this book. I can't wait to discuss it with secular friends and just get their opinions. This is a discussion starter, if nothing else. Yeah, I loved this book. I cannot recommend it enough. It goes into such detail, the early writings, as well as contemporary popes, as well as popes that were contemporaries of St. Francis, and popes who over the years have referred back to St. Francis, and how people treat St. Francis. I didn't know those exist, but again, with the excellent footnotes, you can go look all these up for yourself. And I've been doing that, and it's very, very educational. I also really love the long list of secular Franciscans and the amount of noble people that entered the secular Franciscan order. Like, there were so many surprising things. And of course, I mean, they talked about whether he was into ecology, and it's very clear he was not into any form of naturalism. But I loved this quote: "Religion can help us to recognize the mystery of nature as the work of God, not through sacralizing it, but rather by seeing it in the presence and creative action in its creator." So it is very, very, very lovely. His love for nature was not ecocentric, but Christocentric. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. And yes, liberation theology and cosmic theology are addressed in here. Again, I don't feel it's in a disrespectful way. I think it's in a thoughtful way. The sources are all given. And the conclusion of the book, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Is culture incompatible with Franciscan simplicity and joy? Franciscan simplicitas is not an expression of an ignorant and foolish soul, but rather implies a profound spiritual wisdom that by focusing oneself in God brings everything back to the unum necessarium, rendering oneself indifferent and extraneous to worldly things. So many beautiful quotes. This book is going to be one I'm going to go back to again and again. One other little tiny caution: I believe the author is Italian, and sometimes, like in his footnotes and things, he lists things in Italian. So it's helpful if you know some Italian. Like, even the saints' names are just listed slightly differently. then an English speaker would have listed it. They didn't change those. They left them in the author's original language. They weren't translated, the names. I'm not sure why. But so some of them you may have to be like, I've never heard. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, so give it some thought if something doesn't seem familiar. And that's it. I love this book. I think it is going to be a great conversation starter and a challenge, and I love the resources listed, so we're going to dive deeper and deeper. I mean, what a great day and a blessing. So if you are trapped at home, get out there and grab these books and read. I got them in 2 days from Amazon. I don't know if that's going to change with everybody home, but these books are beautiful. And hey, you can practice your Gregorian chant over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try and get to as many of these books in the next week or so that I can, because we are all stuck at home and kind of bored. And what a great blessing in Lent to sit there and study. Okay, friends, God bless. Don't forget to pray for an end to this terrible virus. And oh my goodness, we have the consolation of God for those who don't make it through this time. And for those that are separated from Mass, don't forget there's many broadcasts of the Mass on the internet, on Facebook, on cable. You may be able to listen on your radio or an app on your phone. And don't forget to make a spiritual communion. Done reverently, it is a beautiful exercise. And imagine how much we're going to all be longing for Easter when it finally gets here. So God bless, friends.